Hello there, how are you doing? It's Cora, and I'm here live from San Francisco with Yoga Blend Lab in San Francisco. So we're going to do a short practice today, and I was going to actually show some things with the chair, and I'll show some other things with a belt and block so that we can see how to look at different standing poses with some props. So let's just sit for a few moments and get centered. So remember, the first step is to get the alignment of your body just right. And then settle into it and begin to relax deeply, consciously. Let's practice some yoga, okay? So I want to do a couple of standing poses, and I am going to pick Warrior One because that seems to be a very troublesome pose. And I'm going to show some ways that we can work in Warrior One with a few props. So let me just go get a block. So I got a couple of objects that are not as familiar. One is this quarter round object, and it's a quarter round, as you can see. It's a quarter of a round, and it's very useful in standing poses, especially for the back foot when the hamstring or the groin is not as open. I particularly like blocks with some heft. I don't like the foam blocks as much because the cork or the wood have just a little bit more solidity to them. And I have a yoga belt, a 6-foot yoga belt with a D-ring, my Yangar chair, and I also have another type of block, the Infinity block by Boga. It's a nice size block because it has a rounded edge as well as a flat edge. And there's a flat edge on one side. So I'm going to be using a couple of these tools and we'll see what we can fit in. So, Warrior One, if we look at the position of Warrior One, we're often coming into it from downward facing. So if we're coming from downward facing, we typically are stepping the foot forward, bringing the back heel down, and then coming up, right, into Virabhadrasana 1. So it's difficult to maintain this opening of the groin. It's difficult to not harm the back by overarching. So we need length and space in the back. We need to draw the belly in, really keep this inner thigh working, and really descend this femur down as we lift and be grounded in the legs, as we raise the arms. So it's difficult to produce all these actions at one time. So I'm going to show you how to use a couple of props to help us get more alignment and hopefully a little bit more helpfulness in the pose, ease. So, I'm going to use an Iyengar chair, which is a backless chair. You'll see that it has no back. It's just a typical folding chair, but it's very solid of a chair. So, first I'm just going to come into a version of downward facing, just to come into the same idea that we would be stepping from downward facing into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. So I could hold the bottom of the chair. I could also hold the top of the chair, descending my head down. Now again, I don't want to droop. You see how that's overarching the back? I don't want to do that. I want to pull the belly in and lengthen. So, now to step into the chair, I'm going to just take my foot, step through, and then you'll see that for my legs, the chair position is fine without a blanket. You could also use a blanket if you have a longer shin bone and you need more height. If you need more height, you would just add a blanket onto the seat, or 2 blankets, or even a bolster, and you can easily raise the height of the chair. So I'm just going to step through again with the blanket, just to show that it allows me to sit on the blanket now, on top of the chair. In this case, I'm just sending the leg back. The tendency is this leg wants to bend, so I'm going to send the inner thigh back. Begin to use my hands, press on this side of the chair. The tendency is to lean forward, lazy leg. So stretching out the leg, and as though I could pull myself up out of a pool and then lifting up. So that again, I'm not compressing this low back by overarching. I'm lifting up and extending up as I extend the back leg. So you can see in this position, it's a very nice Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. If we add the arms here, we can really learn to lengthen up. You don't have to release the arms. It's actually hard to maintain your height. But I just wanted to show how this translates into Virabhadrasana 1. To come out of it, you'll just release the leg and step out. You might even want to come back through through downward facing, just like you would through a vinyasa sequence. Take a few breaths here, releasing the spine, letting the brain relax, coming into the practice, being grounded in practice. And then you can step your other leg through. So you step the other leg through, and again, just begin to press this back leg. The difficulty is on this back leg hip it wants to turn away from the chair. You can see how it's difficult on my sacrum here if I do that. And then I end up sort of facing into a Virabhadrasana 2 position. So if I want to invite myself to turn around, I'm going to invite this pelvis, this side of the pelvis, to begin to turn. At the same time, I'm going to ask this leg to come in. See, it's coming in. And so once this leg bone comes in, it turns my pelvis. And then I can actually begin to turn toward the chair. Again, I can hold on to the chair here, and just the difficulty is you'll want to lean forward. This leg will bend, so extend the leg. And even extend it with the chest forward and the head forward so you can really get as much length as possible. We might even stay here for a while, days, weeks, months. But if there's length and there's ability, then again, just begin to pull yourself up as though you were pulling yourself up out of a swimming pool. Don't forget the leg, and lift yourself up and lift up and up and up as this hip comes toward the chair. Again, you can see that this is the nice shape of the Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. I don't have to support my weight. I can keep drawing this hip back, this leg in, keep inviting this back pelvis to come forward. And as I do all of that, never forgetting this leg, lifting the leg, lifting the leg, lifting the leg. And again, pulling up and lengthening. Again, if you can maintain the height, you can take your arms up, lengthen up, and then releasing again, perhaps leaning forward, releasing the leg, and again, just stepping out. You can come back into a downward facing position. Again, don't flop, pull the belly in, extend through the pelvis, drop your head. We might even want to come back and place the hands up on the top and drop the head. Again, lengthening the spine. And then coming up. So let's see if we have time to do a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, I want to show another way to work with a belt for Warrior 1. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put the belt around, it's a big loop of a belt. Put the belt around my right leg here, I'm mirroring you. I'm going to be stepping into it. You see this is my right leg, and my left leg is on the bottom, so do you see how this is? Like so. Okay. I'm going to be stepping now into the chair, and now this belt I'm going to have tight. And with the belt, I'm going to pull my foot back. I'm going to pull this foot back. The belt has to be quite tight. And as I do that, I can perhaps lift up even more. So you see with the additional belt, I can lift up. And I keep pushing in the inner heel, inner arch, and lifting up, lifting myself up as though I could lift myself up off the seat. And then releasing here again, bending, releasing. This time I will place the belt on my left leg. See that? And I'll be stepping into it with my, oops, it's a little tangled. I'll be stepping into it with my right leg. Do you see that? And I'm now able to bend the, can you see how the belt is? Okay. So now I'm going to step into the chair with the belt. Oops. If you bring the buckle closer to you, you can pull it tight, just really pull it tight. And now, again, you'll see that as I push with the leg, it pulls my leg in. And then I can pull up and pull my hip and leg. Really pressing through the inner heel, inner arch, inner leg, and lifting up into Virabhadrasana as though I'm pulling myself up, out of the swimming pool, and lifting up. And then releasing again, bending my legs. I can step out. Again, after that work, we might want to take the hands coming into downward facing. Even take the legs wider, as wide as the mat, so you can just have some space in the sacrum. Lengthening the spine back. And then just coming even to a supported Uttanasana. With the forehead supported, releasing the brain. Just a few moments here, just collecting your thoughts. Perhaps even switch the elbows. And then coming up, I'm going to see if we have any time to continue with more props in this setup. Yes, we'll have a little bit more. So I'm now going to use a block, and I'm going to add a quarter round. So the quarter round is here for my leg. And the block is here to stabilize my hip, because the hip wants to torque. So again, I'm going to step with my right leg through, okay? And I could use the belt if I wanted to, but I'm not going to, for this purpose, I'm just going to place the block where I think it's needing to go, place this block on the outside of this hip, right? I'm going to step this leg through. So now my leg is against the block. Do you see that? So with my leg against the block, I can really feel if the hip is going forward. So I can really pull and push against the block, push against the quarter round, and lift up. The more I can bring this right hip back, the more that this will turn my pelvis, turn. So that as I turn, I can actually come into center, coming into Virabhadrasana shape. So again, I'm here with length. Then releasing, I will use the other side. Again, placing the block now on the other side. So again, I'm going to step through. And you can see that if my hip here wants to come off, as this leg uses the block to push against, I can push against the block and send the femur back and in. And begin to straighten this leg, bring this femur around, and pull myself up out of the chair. As though I could lift off the chair, right? Lift off. So can I get as much lift that I'm just barely being on the chair, opening the body, and then only when I have integrity in my alignment and ease, then can I come into Virajasana. And then again, coming out, releasing out of the pose. And again, you might want to come into a downward facing. Just bringing your hands and even your head, if it comes into contact. If it doesn't, you can use your block to bring your head into contact. And then if you want to, you can hold on to the top of the chair. And again, as you come down, lengthen, don't sink. Create length. And then again, as though you could just drop your head toward the block. Opening the shoulders and lengthening. Staying a few breaths here, just finding the position of ease, stability, equanimity. Balancing the back body and the front body. The dark side of the mountain, the bright side of the mountain, the yin and the yang. And then again, just releasing. If you want to, coming into Uttanasana supported for a few breaths, again, just letting the mind stabilize. Releasing this part of the body might have been working. Take out any aggression. Soften the desire to move and go in speed. Just resist the temptation. And just let go. Switching the cross of your arms. Again, just trying to release the low back. For some of you, if you want to be in a deeper position, you can always come into an Uttanasana with your head supported on a block. But it's just something that's supported that lets the brain come in. And then bend your knees, come on up. And I think that's all we have time for today. So I hope that was of benefit to you in any way. And I look forward to seeing you again next week at Yoga Bloom Lab online. Drink deeply from all that life has to offer. Live thoughtfully as we walk amongst each other, and bloom wherever you are. Thank you very much for joining me. Namaste.